essence, with a total of 424 kidnappers arrested between May and June 2019. India reports that Inspector General of Police Mohammed Adamu disclosed this during a meeting with senior officers of the force.
This conference of the Inspector General of Police and senior officers is the first after the May 29 presidential inauguration and June 12 Democracy Day celebrations, which set the stage for the next level agenda. It then behoves on these officers who are in charge of internal security across the states of the Federation to review their strategies. First to be mentioned was the success of the two national events held across the country.
It was also the result of the sacrifice, courage, zeal, and exceptional dedication of police commanders and other ranks.
Activities of bandits, armed robbers, kidnappers, and other criminals that have caused the loss of lives and property took the center stage, all of which are strategically being degraded by Operation Puff Adder.
A total of 10,860 ammunition of various descriptions and caliber were recovered, while a total of 301 firearms, including a rocket launcher, AK-47 rifles, pistols, and locally made guns, were similarly recovered from criminal elements across the country, with the highest number of 80 from Katsina State. It is to be emphasized that the achievements were recorded with the cooperation of members of the public in a manner that clearly demonstrates the increasing determination of the citizens to support the police in restoring internal security.
The Nigerian police force pledged to intensify operational strategies to beef up internal security in the country. In Abuja, doing Dia NT News.
And the Nigerian Air Force says its Air Task Force of Operation Lafia Dole has degraded another Boko Haram hideout in Sambisa Forest. In a statement by NAF Director of Public Relations and Information, Air Commodore Ibikunle Daramola, the operation was executed on 16th June 2019 after persistent intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance mission revealed presence of Boko Haram terrorists at a new camp with several structures hidden under the thick foliage of the forest. Accordingly, an Alpha jet was dispatched to attack the location with devastating effects on several of camouflage structures and neutralizing the Boko Haram occupants. And the Nigerian Navy has reiterated its commitment towards developing naval leaders who can tackle the complex national security challenges through sound policies. Chief of Policy and Plans, Naval Headquarters, Rear Admiral Biroy Ibenwo, stated this during the pulling out ceremony of the immediate past Commandant of the Naval War College, Nigeria, Rear Admiral Thaddeus Udofia, retired. Umo Basi Edet has the report.
The event was the pulling out ceremony of the immediate past Commandant of the Naval War College, Nigeria, Rear Admiral Thaddeus Udofia. With 31 years of meritorious and distinguished service coming to an end, the occasion was also an opportunity to assess the impact of the War College in the past few years of its establishment.
The intention of putting up this Naval War College is being realized. There are not many of them have been so trained, but the few we have seen, they are contributing to more efficient delivery of our operations.
Pioneering is not a very easy thing to do, and for him to have been a pioneer, and today we are seeing the Naval War College already running, then he's done a great job.
Retired but not tired, Rear Admiral Udofia did not pull out without a word of advice for his successor, Rear Admiral Adeshoyi Adebanjo.
I've made myself available to the Nigerian nation for further service to humanity. For my successor, I'm happy that he labored with me as the Deputy Commandant. I have all amount of confidence that he's going to excel as the Commandant of the college and move the college forward.
Promoted Rear Admiral on 24 June 2015, Thaddeus Udofia has held several special assignments in the Nigerian Navy, National Defense College, the Armed Forces of Nigeria, and the nation at large. In Calabar, Umo Basedate, NTA News.
And in Taraba State, security agents are seeking enhanced cooperation to cope security challenges in the state. This is following the recurrence of violent clashes among communities in the state. Joseph Otson reports that apart from communal clashes, cases of kidnapping are becoming a major concern.
Taraba State has been on the spot for different dimensions of crisis. The latest being the communal crisis between the Tiv and Jukun communities in the southern parts of the state, farmers' herders conflict in Adokola local government area, and series of kidnapping in different parts of the state. The communal crisis seems to be benefiting no one, as there are losses on both sides and socio-economic activities collapsing. Calm is, however, returning in some affected areas following several interventions from stakeholders, with the security agencies calling for greater collaboration from the public to curb the mayhems.
Our personnel are working along the axis of Shentengi, AB, Takum axis, and I want to assure you that peace is returning to the communities.
The rising cases of kidnapping, especially in Takun local government and Jalingo, the state capital, is another major source of concern. Just recently, the State Police Command confirmed the abduction of the wife of the state chairman of Nigerian Labour Congress, Abigail Peter, and a businessman, Emeka Okoronko, from their homes in Jalingo.
We encourage the general public to comfort and give the police and other security agencies the necessary informations. As we carefully say, call us, we can accompany you to go and deliver the ransom. Of course, you know what will be the outcome.
One thing for sure is that these crises can only be overcome with the cooperation of members of the public, who must learn to tolerate one another and feed security agents with information on activities and hideouts of criminals. In Jalingo, Joseph Sound Uten, NTA News.
And from Taraba, we move to Sokoto, where the federal government and World Bank have vowed to absorb out-of-school children. Details with Noura in our Sokoto Network Center. Hello, Noura.
Ruth, and welcome to the seat of the Caliphate. The federal government and World Bank have committed $600 million for better education service delivery for all across 17 states, including Sokoto. National coordinator of the program, Professor Gidado Taid, said the money is a grant to promote access to education in the specific areas. Muhammad Nasir has the details.
The objective of the VETA education service delivery for all is to increase equitable access to education for out-of-school children and improve literacy in the focus states, as well as strengthen accountability for results in basic education. The team in Sokoto State requested the government to be conscious of the project's time frame and commended its level of commitment in education. The program is a key strategy that requires readiness of all stakeholders in ensuring focus on outputs and outcomes of the performance at all levels.
Already you had set up, you have declared a state of emergency on education, you have set up a series of committees on ground that are working towards taking care of these challenges.
Sokoto State government on its part restated commitment to actualizing the program's agenda.
We're very committed to this program, which we believe is going to help in advancing the course of education in Sokoto State.
The state government said part of strategies to strengthen and promote quality education is the establishment of Female Education Commission, among other educational programs. In Sokoto, Muhammad Nasir, NTA News.
In a bid to ensure Al-Majris get the desired education they require, parents have been urged to ensure adequate provision of their basic needs. Musa Abakar reports that these were some of the suggestions proffered by an Islamic scholar in Sokoto on how to alleviate the sufferings of the vast Al-Majri population. The report.
6-year-old Bashiru Bashar just had a meal made of leftovers he got from households in Gidan area, Sokoto. He has no idea where and when he's going to get his next meal. Bashiru could not say which state he is from, but he knows he's not from Sokoto State. This is the ordeal that the Al-Majri population face when sent far away from home to study and memorize the Holy Quran. They are left by their parents without any provision for shelter, food, clothing, and health care. They have to fend for themselves through begging or doing menial jobs. There's a large Almajiri population in Sokoto, and lack of basic necessities of life has left most of them exposed to harsh conditions of life, and some of them end up being thugs, killed for rituals, or exposed to several hazards.
Islam totally is not encouraging begging. The responsibility of children is on the shoulder of their parents.
The recent case of some Almajiri students sexually abused by their teacher in Sokoto reflects the vulnerability of the Almajiri child.
That are living in the towns, we are the accommodators of the Almajiris. It is our responsibility. We should not leave the responsibility only for the government.
It is hard to see what the future holds for Bashiru and other Almajiri children as they struggle every day for the next available meal. In Sokoto, Abubakar, NTA News.
What signs are designed to aid motorists on their journeys to various destinations? To this end, motorists in Sokoto have continued to express satisfaction with the implementation of route assurance in the state. Again, Musa Bakar completes the report.
For a motorist who is planning a journey along Sokoto to Lagos A1 highway, it's hard to get a picture of the exact distance of the route without any sign to guide him. With this assurance route signage put in place by the federal government, motorists can easily plan their journeys.
Actually, it will help because, for instance, if you are first time to come into Sokoto, it will actually help you showing you this is so kilometer that's in Maine. For instance, to Ilela, that is maybe if you are going to Ilela, it will actually tell you so kilometer remains for you to reach where you are heading to.
The 12 signage, which covers about 120 kilometers from Sifar to Ilela in Sokoto, is contracted to link Kebbi, Kontagora, Ilorin, Ibadan, and Lagos.
The route signages, as you have it, is from Lagos to Ilela. And some of these signages, we have them in Sokoto here. The contractor came and he has executed the job. So we have the signages standing.
The route assurance signage provides guide that covers a distance of more than 900 kilometers from Sokoto to Lagos. In Sokoto, I am Musa Abubakar, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Sokoto is Bach Ruth in Abuja for more nationwide.
Thank you, Noura, and welcome back to Abuja. Now, let's take you back to the story we called earlier on the Supreme Court, which has fixed the 5th of July 2019 to deliver judgment on Osun State governorship election. Olabode Arewa will give us details.
The acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tako Muhammad, led other 6-man panel of justices in hearing the appeal filed by the PDP candidate Ademola Adeleke against the victory of Governor Gboyega Oyetola in the election. 4 separate appeals were filed by the appellant to challenge the verdict of the Court of Appeal, which reaffirmed the victory of Gboyega Oyetola as the duly elected governor of the state. However, the Apex Court ruled that the appellant should consolidate 3 of the 4 cases pending before it. In the principal matter, Onyechi Ekweazu, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, counsel to Ademola Adeleke, pleaded with the court to restore Adeleke's victory, saying the inconclusive election of the 22nd of September 2018 showed that Adeleke won at least 50% of the lawful votes cast in at least 2/3 of the state, adding that INEC had to have relied on its guidelines instead of the provisions of Section 178, subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Counsel to Oyetola, Wale Olanipekun, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and that of INEC, Yusuf Ali, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, pointed the attention of the court to alleged inconsistencies in Adeleke's claims, saying the 1999 Constitution, as amended, was clear on the requirements for declaring a winner in the governorship election, a requirement not met by Adeleke. They urged the Supreme Court to dismiss the suits for lacking in merit.
There's a defect. We had argued that there's a defect in the notice of appeal, in the sense that they refer to themselves as respondents instead of appellants. And if the court agrees with us, it means that's a fundamental defect.
They raise objection that we wrongly inserted the name of respondent as opposed to the appellants. And we have corrected that error that is just a mere mistake, that does not change the position of the council who appeared in respect of this matter, and that we maintain consistency.
The Court of Appeal had earlier declared Oyetola as the winner of the election, thereby overturning the tribunal judgment which gave Adeleke victory at the election. Both verdicts were split judgments. In Abuja, Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Now, consider the child first in any situation if you must present human existence and safeguard the future. Don't ask why. They are the future. This is the key message for every Nigerian in the commemoration of the 2019 Day of the African Child, as declared by the African Union. Momso Damien Dati captured highlights of the event.
Valdia and Draus and Juliana Marcus, both 15 years old and from Goza in Borno State, have a similar story of an unpleasant childhood.
They broke Haran in the school. They now meet us in the school. We now run away to the bush. When we run away to the bush, they started shooting some girls. When they are starting shooting some girls, they have taken some of children among us. Some of our parents, they have already died. And then we are starting a school. We advise the government to have job for our parents so that they provide food for us to eat.
And our parents, we are not seeing them again. Since they are lost, whether they're partying, whether they're carrying go, we don't know. Then we try and get education.
It is especially for children like them and those with special needs that the Day of the African Child is being commemorated in all African countries.
To focus on rescuing and taking care of these children first. They are our future. We have to preserve their rights and protect their rights.
Federal Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, with the rule of law and anti-corruption, is collaborating with foreign partners to lift the banner for humanitarian action in Africa.
The 2019 Day of the African Child is a wake-up call for action to accentuate the need to prioritize the protection of the rights of children in humanitarian crises, ranging from natural disasters to conflicts.
Whenever the events of 16th June 1976 comes to mind, remember it is a day some children lost their lives while fighting for their rights. And so, in whatever you do, remember children's rights first. Momso Damien Ati, NTA News.
Thank you, Momso. And yes, children's rights first. Now, for the African child to remain relevant and compete favorably in the global scene, there is need for an effective framework which will assist in protecting the rights of the African child for full actualization of goals. Elizabeth Omoroye reports that this was one of the recommendations by Nigerian children in Abuja as they celebrate the 2019 of the Day of the African Child.
Also recognize Atanda Kolawole, Deputy Director representing PERMSEC, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
At a glance, they looked like new intakes, ready to audition for a theatre performance. Little did we know that they are the compass for the program. They are the future of the African continent with great potential that when fully harnessed will build the prosperity of the continent. As they celebrate their day, factors that impede their growth such as molestation, modern slavery, mutilation, child labor, early marriage and poverty, they described in strong terms as barbaric and must be addressed.
I would like to change the fact that children are usually trafficked every single day. We always find children on the road. I want them to have good education.
As they bear their minds on cultural and social issues affecting them, they used the occasion to remind government, parents and society to take the protection of the rights of the African child as priority in order to raise generations that will foster the growth of Africa.
The United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, CRC, classified these rights under 4 broad themes: survival, development, protection, and participation. These rights enable children in practice to grow and develop in a holistic manner. These rights must therefore be safeguarded by one and all, and most particularly by the family.
They should be able to aspire to be whatever they want to be in life. Make them comfortable.
The children advocated education, qualitative health care, balanced meals, security and protection from all forms of abuse. There was also a show of creativity in arts through dance, drama and poem. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Edo State government to establish special junior secondary schools. Let's now link up with Agatha in Benin for details and all the news from that zone. Hello, Agatha.
Hello, Ruth. Good evening and a warm welcome to Benin. Edo State government is considering setting up special junior secondary schools to sustain the standard of training in primary school pupils under the Edo Basic Education Sector Transformation Edo Best Initiative. This came to the fore when Governor Godwin Obaseki received members of Edo Best Teachers Forum. Goodluck Inaini reports.
Acknowledging the dedication and commitment of the Edo Best teachers in improving the state basic education subsector, Governor Obaseki wants the digital teachers to take a step further by sustaining the standard at the junior secondary school level, as his administration will do all it can to improve designated junior secondary schools across the state as part of preparation to receiving the pupils who have assumed high learning standard under the Edo Best scheme.
Different people, different governments, different states have tried to undertake reforms, particularly in this difficult area of education, in one form or the other, but none to date has been as successful as what we've done. Think about it. It is not the technology itself. It is you, particularly those of you who has accepted and agreed to be part of the pilots.
Chairman of the Edo Best Digital Teachers Forum, John Isong, informed the governor that they decided to organize themselves to share information and get real-time feedback through comments and reactions at workplace. In Benin, Goodluck Inaini, NTA News.
People with albinism face discrimination due to erroneous beliefs and myths influenced by superstition. This fosters marginalization and social exclusion. Now, to change the narrative, the United Nations set aside a day to raise awareness. Eugenia Ndubisi was at an awareness program organized by the Albino Network Association of Nigeria in Edo State to mark the day.
The United Nations General Assembly on the 28th of December 2014 adopted June 13 annually as International Albinism Awareness Day. The day calls for prevention of attacks and discrimination against persons with albinism and respect for their human rights.
We suffer most from the issue of the environment. Nigeria is within the tropics, and we have extreme weather due to climate change.
Make policies that are favorable to albinos. For instance, the education can make less easier.
Other gates hinge on respect of rights and people with albinism.
Those who are working or who need places of work ought to be provided with indoor employment so that they don't get exposed to ultraviolet radiation of the sun. And those who have developed the cancer itself need government intervention.
Discrimination in workplaces, even among family members.
Anytime I hear them shouting, Oyibo, I will be like, oh, what kind of language is this?
Still standing strong is the theme for 2019 International Albinism Awareness Day. In Benin, Eugenia Ndubisi, NTA News.
Now, the role fathers have to play in curbing drug abuse among children was the message at the celebration of Father's Day at the St. Paul's Catholic Church in Benin. Ivy Omori brings peculiarities of this year's celebration.
On a day like Father's Day, the men usually take the lead as they handle all church affairs while the women take a seat and watch them. That of St. Paul's Catholic Church was not different. Here is Comrade Philip Schreiber, the number 2 person in Edo State, playing the role of a man-server.
It reminds me of those days in Holy Family Catholic Church, Bana, Kaduna, when we used to serve Mass. So it's reminding me that we are really getting old.
Away from the amusement-derived seeing fathers dressed in an unusual way comes a very important message.
Let fathers be aware to continue to let the children know the ills of this drug abuse.
After decorating Miriam Shaibu as one of the joys of St. Paul's and other super fathers by the Catholic Men Organization, attention shifted to our reception.
May God bless our fathers, grant you long life and prosperity, and congratulate them for this occasion that has been so well organized.
The activities of men did not end in the church hall. They dished out food to guests present. In Benin, Ivie Omoyi, NTA News.
And that ends our package. Ruth, over to you.
Thank you, Agatha. Now, as Nigeria marks 20 years of uninterrupted democratic governance, the former Secretary to the Government of the Federation and former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, says the country's democratic credentials are being consolidated. Ambassador Kingibe disclosed this in Damaturu, the Yobe state capital, when he led a delegation to congratulate the state governor, Mai Mala Buni, who was the immediate past APC National Secretary. Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports.
Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, who hails from the neighboring Borno State, told his host, Governor Mai Mala Buni, that Yobe and Borno States are twin brothers whose people share many things in common, as the latter was created out of the former in 1991. The running mate to late Chief MKO Abiola in the annual June 12, 1993 presidential election, Ambassador Kingibe said he is in Yobe State to congratulate Governor Mai Mala Buni, who he noted managed affairs effectively well during his time as the National Secretary of the All Progressives Congress.
I'm very happy that the people of Yobe also called on him to now come and serve the state. I know his capabilities, and I'm sure that the people of Yobe have made an excellent choice, and he will prove himself in no time at all. I congratulate you, Your Excellency.
In his response, Governor Mai Mala Buni said Ambassador Babagana Kingibe is a seasoned diplomat and politician par excellence, whose democratic credentials were engraved in Nigeria's annals of history. He thanked President Muhammadu Buhari for conferring the honor of Grand Commander of the Niger GCON on Ambassador Babagana Kingibe, and for the declaration of June 12 as National Democracy Day.
As Democrats, we are proud of that, and we are proud of our president. We are proud of Nigerians for being resilient and for seeing June 12 as another day worthy of being celebrated.
In Damaturu, I am Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
And from Yobe, let's now go to Enugu, where Chinenye is standing by for details for reports on Nationwide. Hello, Chinenye.
Hello, Ruth. Good afternoon and welcome to Enugu. Players in Enugu State Justice Reform have identified lack of facilities, infrastructural development, as well as personnel as major issues that require urgent attention in administration of criminal justice law of Enugu State. Uchenna Namele was at a two-day summit held in Enugu to x-ray some of the bottlenecks in the administration of the criminal justice law.
The two-day summit was an opportunity for the Enugu State Justice Reform Team to brainstorm on the challenge of criminal justice law of Enugu State and discuss the way forward. Participants at the summit suggested that the administration of criminal justice law of Enugu State be reviewed and amended by the Enugu State House of Assembly. The keynote speaker, Mr. Chino Obiago, emphasized the need for state government to strengthen the administration of criminal justice law of Enugu State.
Able to identify some of the problems that the law have. We will be able to identify areas that the state government need to support for criminal justice to be improved in this state.
Earlier in a brief remark, Chief Justina Ofia emphasized the need to make administration of criminal justice law of Enugu State effective.
The Enugu State Justice Reform Team, as the initiators of reforms in the justice subsector in the state, have been monitoring the implementation of the administration of criminal justice law.
There was an interactive segment by the participants.
And all players in the criminal justice subsector in Enugu State need to work with that law creatively, lawfully, to ensure its successful implementation.
The summit, which has the theme, the challenges of implementation of the state ACJ law, was well attended by people from all walks of life. In Enugu, Uchenna, Nnamene, NTA News.
That's it from Enugu. Nationwide continues in Abuja after this break. Stay with us.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Thank you.